Oh, no!
Can you hear her? Still
No,
can't hear
she
her.
seems very upset, though.
I
You
don't
know what? I
blame
think we
her.
could still do it, and can you just like act
She
it
could
out,
just
and then
write
we
them
will.
down. Just write. Oh, that's good. All charades.
Yeah. Can you do charades? She's
Oh,
going
she's
again.
left already. I don't think it's gonna help. I think she's gonna come back. It's gonna be the
It probably
same
is. I
thing.
don't know what the deal is. Let's see.
I got it.
Oh! Where? What is this? Where?
There's someone. You're not alone.
Over here at that show.
Just thought, yeah, that's how this to do this.
It works twice. It did work. Oh,
Oh God, it's worse.
What?
They're multiplying.
What? What happened now?
no,
You're still not alone, Joey.
If you wanna be in the know about how we put together our little show, if you like to hear the puppeteers and play the characters that you cheer, so join us as we go below the frame.
Welcome to Below the Frame. I'm Matt Vogel, and today we are continuing our discussion about the 1999 film, The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland. It's a film that I worked on, and then my guests today worked on as well. My guests are Joey Mazzarino, who played Bug in the film, and Stephanie D'Abruzzo, who played Grizzy in the film. The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland was a 1999 film, and it was directed by Gary Halvorson.
I wonder how Gary is. Jeez, I haven't seen Gary in many, many years.
I know he used to direct the parade, the Thanksgiving Day
That's
parade.
right. That's the last time I saw
And then
him.
he used to direct. I know he was directing like the Metropolitan Opera live.
Oh, right, those
casts.
live events. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He got like his. Do you know his background? He had a really interesting background.
Mm-mm.
He was like studying piano. He was going to be like a classical
What?
pianist. Yes, he was at. I don't remember. He's at Juilliard. He was at somewhere big, and he heard unbelievable piano playing in while he was studying, and he went to see who it was, and he went in. It was like a kid, and he knew. He said, "I'm never going to be that good. I'm done." And he stopped. But what he did do was he was watching like a PBS broadcast of like an opera or a musical event. And he thought, this is the worst shot thing. They're on the wrong thing at all times. He called up that PBS station. He said, "You're doing it all wrong. Like, you have to know when to do this, this, and that." Wow. And they wound up hiring him. And he went and he started his directing career that way.
I had no idea. I had no idea he was musical at all.
Yeah.
Like he revealed none of
But
that.
he also directed Friends, right?
Later.
Right?
But
He
this
did a
is
lot
the
of
beginning.
multi-camera.
He did like Raymond. He did
Grace Under
Friends.
Fire.
before all
Like
of
he was
that-
talking about.
Before all that, he started doing music. That was his start. I think it was a local PBS music thing, and then he worked his career up.
I mean, I guess it shouldn't surprise me because if you're that adept at piano, you have to know how to really think on multiple levels in your head. So for him to do true multi-camera live directing from the
Right.
booth video,
Yeah.
I can see where those two, the ability to do one would inform the ability to do the other.
He was an interesting guy. I really liked him.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got fired from Sesame Street, by the way.
What?
During that time.
During what? During
You got fired from
well, I
Sesame Street?
quit. I actually quit
What?
because it was like the producer, the executive producer at the time he was cutting writers, and he said he called me and said, we're cutting back on writers, so you're not going to write anymore on the show. And I said, "Oh, that's good." I quit. I quit the show. I'm not working on the show anymore.
when was this?
I don't remember that at all.
During pre-production.
Pre-production of the film.
I remember pre-production of the film. I got fired as a writer from the show. And I quit. And I said, I'm
not even performing.
I'm not performing.
This is before you
I'm
were
not doing
directing
it.
too.
Yeah.
Before I was directing, and they had fired me. And then I can't remember. And then I said, I'm not doing a contract either. I'm not doing a contract. But then they wanted me back, and they had to pay me per day that I came back, and I wind up making so much more money than if I had a contract. And then they hired me back as a writer and as a director because I wouldn't do it otherwise. But I remember because I remember Gary faxing me storyboards where he changed all the dialogue to be like "F them," he wrote a whole little script for me
that's
to
great.
make me feel better that I wasn't working for them.
Well, see, okay,
forgot
so
about that.
now I see why you quit Muppets from Space, because this tactic, if you want to call it a tactic,
And when you
had
That's right,
been
I did it.
successful
It
in the
worked.
past.
They
it had
missed
just,
me.
Yeah.
it had just
and
happened.
when you have Mandy
I mean,
Patinkin saying,
they-
"Do it,"
yeah.
That's it. No, you know what? That's funny. I never even put the two together. But you're right. It was already there. Why blame
Yeah,
Mandy
yeah.
when it's,
It's
really
really-
my
it's
own
really-
shortcomings?
No,
my
no,
own shrink,
this-
my own, actually not shortcomings, my own inflated sense of self.
your hubris.
I think
you
though
were
that there's
you were foisted
but
on your
I think
own
that
petard.
there's
I
a
always
there's a
I keep
there's
foisting
a right
on my own
time
petard.
to do that, and sometimes it
Yeah.
goes your way, and sometimes
Sometimes that petard just sits there, sticking.
and
Blood
you have to. I
gushing
mean,
from the petard. What is a petard?
I don't
'Cause
know.
It just.
he's
I'm
like,
foisted
isn't he
on
the
it.
guy that's from Star Trek? The next,
Petard. He was the
Petard.
captain.
Jean-Luc
Captain
Petard.
Petard. Jean-Luc Petard.
but I think that if you're going to make those choices, like if you're going to say like if you're going to be hardline, I'm going to quit. You have to be prepared for them to say okay,
That's right.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise you're screwed
Yeah.
if they say no. But you got lucky on that.
I got lucky.
First
The first time.
time.
Second time.
First time.
Well, they were different. You're dealing with different situation,
Yeah.
and it's
Situation.
Something that was different about this film that just popped into my head was that on Sesame Street, the whole street is built on the actual ground, on the floor.
Yeah.
And we roll around on rolling little rollies. That's what we call them, rollies.
Rollies.
Just
Little
rollies.
rollies.
Yeah.
little-
But here
The
we
technical
could stand
term.
up.
stand up. They built everything off the ground. It was
Yeah.
so
Thanks to
cool.
Kevin.
Oh, man.
Kevin really wanted that, and Kevin wanted that for the set too. Like,
Yeah.
he was hoping that one day we could have the set up.
And I mean, is it? I don't know. Maybe Joe, they didn't do it probably because it was very expensive.
I don't think it's expensive. Like the set is built, the regular
Yeah.
set. But also, like I don't think Sesame could handle that schedule you need to pop out floor
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, it's such a slower schedule
really is.
than us figuring out where to roll to is much easier than going, okay, for this scene we need to pop out section, this section, this section. Because we did that on Julie's Green Room, and it was it
time
took so
suck.
long every time.
But
A
the
time
end
suck,
result
every
is
time.
you can do so much more with the puppetry, right? I mean, because you can move around.
but if you have, it becomes a lot more dangerous for the performers,
I was
especially if
just
those
gonna
performers
say-
are legends who happen to be in their
That's right.
80s.
Well,
But she never
I
fell,
was
did
thinking
she? She
more
didn't
about.
fall.
No,
Okay.
dear
Okay,
God,
okay,
no.
okay.
But it was
All right,
scary.
okay.
I was nervous all the time, and there was no air conditioning in those studios.
Yeah, studio.
I say studios
Factories.
because they were an airplane, literally
Yeah.
like the airplane factories that were.
They built the LEM. They
no.
built the lunar landing module.
Is that
Grumman.
right?
Oh, is that
Yeah,
where they,
that was
is that where they
Grumman.
faked the moon landing?
And,
No, no, that's where they built. That's where they built the craft
no,
that faked
it's real.
It's what's real.
The moon landing was
Now,
real.
come on.
moon landing was, and so was the LEM,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
eagle.
That's where they
that
built it,
landed.
and then they sent.
That's where they, that's where they built it. Yeah, you should. Do you remember the HBO miniseries From the Earth to the Moon?
Mm-hmm.
There's a great episode all just about building the LEM at Grumman. So that space
realize.
turned. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great. No, but going back to why Sesame wasn't raised, a raised set, I always assumed it had to do with the
I did
kids
too.
that used to be on the show. Like it was
Yeah.
a liability
You
thing.
don't want kid falling
to have
either.
kids running around and then. Pew,
Yeah, but I guess time really does make sense because shooting.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I have
Well,
no
it-
idea.
It's
I think that's
probably
right.
a multitude of
It's a multitude.
things.
And plus, like if you think about it, that show was not made as a puppet show, right? The puppets
Right.
weren't even in
Right.
those street
Right.
segments in the beginning, and then it was just two of them.
Right.
And one of them had legs.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
One of them was not.
Well, and now you can't even.
strict-
You couldn't
strict
where we
hand
are now. You couldn't even build it up
Right.
because there's just
Oh,
no ceiling
yeah.
to
No,
do
There's
that.
no
there's no
space.
ceiling space for.
Yeah.
But it's got to be time. Has got to be. We shoot like what 13 pages a day. That's
Yeah,
You
it's
shoot a lot.
unheard of.
a ridiculous.
So, but
And we've adapted
Oh,
too. I mean, I think as soon as you solve the problem in one way or another, then there's no reason
Mm-hmm.
to think of, well, why would we do that? It's been working so well
Yeah.
for at that point it had been 30 years.
But I do know that we have we used to be laid way back on those juniors.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
We
That's
like
the word.
s-
I don't
we'd,
like those.
buckle
Yeah, I hate
ourselves
them.
into these juniors, and they're really wide and they don't roll very well. And
But also your
your-
center of gravity.
everything's
not great.
off.
You can't get.
You're
no.
You can't
compressing your
twist.
throat when you're trying to puppeteer. It's just not great.
Yeah, those were
And
tough.
over the years, so the puppets used to be a lot lower in frame,
Lower,
and then
yeah.
over the years
That
they
looks
kind
better
of
too if they're they kind of rose up to be.
Yeah, like right here, you
on
can
the person
frame
instead of there.
shots better,
Yeah,
and it's much better. Yeah, I agree. Although when we were going to do that Sesame Street movie, in talking with the director, we were talking about like, well, where do you want those puppets to be? Because in the real world, they would be really low, and if you're going to have these wide shots, this is going to be shot in New York City. You're going to have these wide shots. You're going to want to see the puppets where they would normally be. So there was a lot of discussions about the height of the puppets. I think you buy it on Sesame Street because we very rarely do wide shots where you see characters with their legs.
What had been decided for the movie?
It was going to be lower. We were going to be as low as we could.
We would have to be like,
Yeah.
camp chairs on rollies have become a new thing.
Yeah. That's hard to do.
It is, but when we were doing Helpsters, our rollies were a little oblong, and if you put a camp chair on it just right, you had that right center of gravity, and you could turn on a dime as opposed to those long low boys, which you just couldn't twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you put them on those newer rollies with the inline skate wheels, those long ones had the old office chair. I know, Joey, we're getting really
People are like,
wonky.
what the hell's a low boy and a junior? Sorry, folks, this is all very technical. We are in the weeds.
We are, but
Yeah,
you know,
this is inside
this is
baseball,
what people
man.
like to hear.
Do they?
I think they do. Yeah, they do.
Okay. Let's talk more about
Here's
rolling.
some other things that we did in Wilmington. We went. Was this, Joey, where we got digital cameras, or was
We did. We got matching digital cameras, but I think we went to another state. I think we
did.
went to
South Carolina.
South
We did.
Carolina to some
like a outlet mall?
There was a big outlet mall. And were we with our wives, or we bought them? No, we
Probably
couldn't have
not.
bought
They
wives
wouldn't have
because
approved of that
would have
purchase.
never said
We wouldn't
yes.
have- those would not have been approved
No.
purchases. Remember Tuesday
Oh,
shopping
I do.
day?
It was so much fun. Stephanie,
Go to the
Kids-
TRU.
Yeah.
Records and DVDs came out on
Yeah.
Tuesdays
That's
back then.
right.
And there was no streaming.
No.
Wait,
so Matt and I would
no,
always
they
go.
dropped,
They dropped,
on
yeah.
Tuesdays.
They
They
dropped.
dropped.
yeah, and so Joey and I would as many Tuesdays as we could. We would go to our Circuit
That was
City.
really during Big Bag.
Yeah,
That
it was during
really
Big Bag. But we would.
But
do
we
that.
did have time on the weekend
Yes,
to do.
And we
to
do
go
some
to
shopping.
South Carolina for a big shopping.
and we
trip.
bought
matching
digital cameras. I don't remember how many megabytes they were, but they certainly
just
weren't.
had
They were
megabytes.
megabytes.
didn't have
They
a
were
lot.
not
And it was terrible.
gigabytes.
Yeah.
Were they high 8 or digital 8?
They
or
were like
mini.
they were
DV?
small silver things.
Yeah, no, I don't think it didn't.
Oh
have
no,
a
no, you're
ca-
talking about
no.
stills.
Yeah,
Oh, you're not talking
stills.
video
No,
camera. You're
digital
talking
camera.
still
Yeah, they
camera.
were-
Okay.
It was a still
Like a
camera, it just had a
Sony-
card.
Card. Okay.
Something or other.
Oh,
We bought it
was
like the
the
Sony outlet.
Yes.
Well, if it was a Sony, do you remember they had their proprietary stick?
I don't know.
Memory
remember.
Didn't
stick?
they
Could
have the
been.
memory
I
stick?
don't think it had a memory.
But it
Okay.
also had very little memory, and it also the pixels were like you
Not
couldn't.
good
No, it was
pixels.
not great.
Not
I'm
a
just
good-
trying to
but it was
remember
fun.
when SD cards became a thing.
Much
Were there
later.
SD cards yet?
No, I don't think so.
What came first, the SD card or the Rolly?
Well, definitely the Rolly. They've been around forever.
The Rolly.
Okay, so digital cameras. There was also now I don't know if David Rudman joined us because we were like the four kind of other performers other than Kevin that were there the whole time, but I definitely know that.
David didn't hang out with us as much as we hung out.
Yeah, that's true.
David was busy. I remember David was like busy writing stuff.
Oh yeah.
He was busy doing other stuff. I don't remember what he
Well, I do remember on a weekend, you mentioned weekends, Joey, but you and me and Stephanie, we went to the beach.
Beach trip!
Trip. Oh my
My
god.
best memory
Yes.
is Stephanie huddled under the umbrella.
And I
Because of the
still
horrible
burned.
sun.
And I still got sunburned.
Still got
Oh
sunburned.
my
You're very
god.
fair-skinned, though. Steph.
I am pasty as hell.
and it was
beach trip.
just trying to stay away from the evil sunlight. And how you,
It was well, and it wasn't. I don't even think it was an SPF umbrella.
Oh,
like I don't think
no,
it
it
had.
came
I
right
think it was just a
through.
regular.
and permeated.
I think I had a
everywhere.
hat too.
Oh, yeah.
I think I had a big old floppy hat
Oh.
that probably wasn't SPF either. And
There wasn't
Oh,
such. There was
ridiculous.
no such thing as sun protection back then.
and you guys were just with your coconut oil,
Yeah.
just getting
Oh
all
yeah. Just yeah.
sizzling.
Here's another memory. I feel like I know we did this during the 3D movie, but which we shot in Florida, where they also built an
Yes.
off the ground Sesame
was good.
Street.
That's
They
right.
built.
I forgot about that.
I just
one.
remembered
And
it
that
just
was
now.
a totally different set too.
Totally different.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but they built it
So
off the
did
ground.
these things ever wind up in storage, or
think
did
so.
they
No,
get destroyed? Or
trashed.
They destroy them. They
that's just sad.
I feel like,
'Cause it
I feel like
costs a lot
Milo
to-
wants to.
Yeah, but it would have been. It would have been.
No,
I feel like-
you're right.
I feel like Milo has some things to say about the rollies.
Yeah.
He does.
It may be about the rollies. I don't know.
Milo, Milo, come, Milo,
Oh.
come on,
Oh, here he comes.
Milo, come here.
Here comes.
Hey, bring him up and say hello.
What
Milo,
memories?
come.
What
Come
memories
here.
does he have?
Come and say hi. Come here, Milo. Come,
He's,
come on.
he's like, I don't
don't have
he's
any
camera
food.
shy.
Come on.
He's
All right,
scared
maybe
of
You know what it
He's
is?
scared of your figures.
It's over your left shoulder. He's scared of that.
That's right.
Milo,
Hello. Oh, yeah, look at him.
Milo, come.
Hello.
Say hi to America.
Not gonna do it. But what I was gonna say was 3D. Okay, all right, Milo.
I invited you to come.
He wants you to go with him. I remember wiffle ball in a field.
That was universal.
Didn't we
feel
play
like
it in
that
a
was
field
mostly
though?
the-
I know we did it under the
Oh,
over.
you guys did.
That's the 3D movie.
But that was
No, but-
under on a, in a like a.
You're right.
It was like there was a garage and there was thunder and lightning and it was crazy. And we were playing wiffle ball.
that was in North Carolina.
Well, that was the 3D movie where there was like a
3D movie,
cover
yeah,
over the
yeah.
top of us, and we played anyway.
Yeah.
We played through the rain and the thunder and
We
lightning.
played a lot during that.
But I
But
feel like
there
we
was
did.
a field.
There was a field,
You're
and
right.
we played wiffle ball.
I didn't play, but I remember someone
But maybe
saying,
Joey
maybe it was
didn't.
Marty who was saying it was near where they had shot turtles,
Yeah.
because they'd shot Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles down
Yep.
there. He said, over there is where we shot this action scene
And it was the
or
field.
something. There was a field.
Because I thought, oh, this
and
is
I
probably
remember him
where
talking about-
there's going to be a soundstage will be built here at some point because it was just a big
Oh,
field.
maybe that's what it was. Is I think there had been a soundstage that was destroyed in a hurricane.
Oh, that sounds
there
right.
was a big hurricane the year
That sounds
before we
right.
were there.
Yes, and I think that's where Marty said we shot some turtles there.
Ew.
Because I just remember
Oh,
that there was this
the show.
open space. Yes, you shot. Yeah,
We shot some turtles here.
shot some titles.
You know, the other people that were on the movie, Fran Brill, she was Zoe. She did a lovely, just
Right.
lovely having Franny there. I miss Fran.
I miss Franny.
Yeah,
I do
me
too. I
too.
call her every once in a while just
Yeah.
to chat. I miss
Yeah.
her.
I send her an email now and then.
Marty.
Francis
And
Joe.
Marty was there for quite a bit of time as
Yeah,
well.
Marty was there for a bit
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
And of course Jerry was there, but only for a little, like a week. I think like Jerry and Caroll were there for a week, and he played the mayor of Grouchland.
yeah,
Yeah.
from Grouchland.
Holy
and
great.
then he was the cop who arrested the humans.
Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah.
In
That's right.
fact, someone gave me. I have a Grouch summons.
Oh.
And that's the pencil marks that his
That Jerry
character
wrote-
was making on the thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So the prop department did an amazing job. This is all backwards. Oh man.
Tar and feathering.
But yeah.
Tar and feathering.
I wish I had. There's somewhere in storage. I have the Grouch movie theater, the movie posters that they made for the Grouch movie theater. Oh. It was.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
wrote one of them. I wrote into the script. I said the Grouch movie theater had a movie called Basically It Stinks because Basic
Yes.
Instinct was still sort of in
Right.
the
Oh, and
Remember
it was-
that.
and then I had there was a Godzilla one on the other side. But
Oh,
I
and
have
Steve
those.
Steve played Sharon Groan.
Coming
out of- coming out of
Oh, that's
Basically
right, coming out of the
Instinct.
premiere. Basically,
Yeah, and we were all had the
funny.
cameras. There was the
Yes,
paparazzi.
that's right.
Oh man.
That's right. Sharon Groan.
We mentioned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no. On this, it's so the Grouch summons. It's notice of violation to the speaker for the word please. But then there's a box that said puppet operator present refused to remove hand.
Wow.
They went nuts with this thing.
That's hilarious.
Yes, it was very fun.
You remember that Brian Henson came to for like a couple of days?
Oh, I remember.
Do you remember
I
that?
remember.
Matt
I
remembers
I
that
do.
day.
I do remember.
I do. Why do you remember?
Well,
that?
I remember because, and
He learned a very
I
valuable
did.
lesson that
I
day.
think that we were doing a bunch of animals running through a scene. Maybe it was
was
in
before
advance
the
of the
chicken.
chicken. Yeah, and
It was warning,
and
yeah,
a bunch
chicken!
of animals, and I was a goat, and we were just all running through, and then like Brian was an animal as well, and we were all just like running through. So I had on my goat, and I used to chew gum like all the time. And so in between
Because,
takes,
that's what the cool kids do.
right. Yeah. I just,
the cool
it's
kids chew
something
gum.
that to keep from biting my fingernails is really probably why I would do it. But I dropped gum on my goat, like right in the fur.
It came out of his
I
mouth.
was like,
In front of Brian Henson?
he did not
well,
see it.
he was nearby.
He did not see it.
Brian was adjacent.
He was
Lord.
busy. He was busy doing important
thankfully,
things, and I was dropping
It was
gum.
white gum. It was white gum on a white goat.
And my savior that day was Lara MacLean, who came over,
right.
and I don't know how she did
ice on
it.
it?
She did, I think. I don't know what she did, but she said, "Give me the thing," and she took it away, and she brought it back like seconds later, and she's like, "Don't chew gum." That was it. So
A lesson for us all.
So I didn't really chew gum after that. At least not when Brian was on set.
The look on your face, Matt. I was right
So-
next
so
to
wait,
you.
so
and
that
the
was-
look
that's the
on
Brian
your
story?
face.
For me, yes.
So you were just scared.
Oh, yes.
That happened. Of course. I was on one of the first things it was not the first, but it was a very early project. I was on the Muppets Celebrate Jim Henson. Right when after Jim passed, there was that thing. And I remember standing backstage with David right before we were supposed to go on. And I think I was playing Whoopee Cushion or something, or maybe somebody else was. I was playing something else. And I said, "What's this made of?" Crunch. I broke the nose right before the take. And I was like terrified. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to get fired. I'm done." But nobody noticed. It was broken.
You just leave it and it was just hanging off as you walked in.
It was like sort of just like there was stuff inside it, just like mush. I remember that nervousness. But I had a gum story too during Aliens in the Family. Chris Marquette was the actor, and he's gone on like he still acts. He was probably 8 years old, and I remember like he thought it was hilarious when I would pretend to spit on somebody's head. And he said, "Do it again to my head." You go, like you blow air, and it feels like you spit on his head. So I did it to him, but I had gum in my mouth. And the gum flew into his hair. And I was like, "Oh, dear God." And I'm like trying to get it. And I'm like, "Oh, God, Chris, it's stuck in there." And his mom's there. And I'm like, I feel terrible. They had to like cut. And he's like an actor.
Yeah.
He's on camera.
It's not like you could.
They were very nice. They didn't make me feel terrible, but I spit gum into poor Chris Marquette's head.
He deserved it.
No, he was a lovely child.
He asked
He's
you to
probably
do
a
it.
lovely adult. He was on Barry. He's the Vietnam veteran on Barry.
Are you serious?
That he kills. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the guy he served with. Chris Stillworth.
Yeesh.
He was a good kid.
I do also remember this. You don't know me. Which is...
Matt, I felt so validated when you kept
Do
laughing.
you know that,
at
Joey? I'm telling you, Joey, you were like busy writing stuff.
He was busy.
I don't remember
So
that.
this is outside the jail, I think. Is that right? And we're all grouches.
Yes.
And Stephanie's this
Yeah.
one like female
Yeah.
grouch. And
Oscar's rallying
Yeah.
the troops to help.
right.
Right?
Trying to get the grouches to help out with anything.
Yeah.
Grouches don't.
No, they
like to do
don't.
that.
And during one of the takes,
Said something. Yeah, he said something like, "You grouches are blah, blah, blah." And I said, "You don't know me."
and I just lost it. It was hilarious. It was just
Good one. It's a good
you
line.
don't
But
know
they
me.
looped over it.
They did loop over
But
it.
they looped over it because they had afterward they had B. Lanoil and Leslie do a bunch of looping in L.A. like loop group stuff, crowd scene stuff. So that was gone.
A lot of those things, yeah.
a lot of like hubbub and walla that we did.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
yeah.
Some of it was just guys. We did
Gold.
some looping, but yeah, that was. And I felt like, oh, I made Matt laugh.
Oh, it was so funny. It was hilarious. It really made me laugh just because it was so it just was, we were just throwing silly stuff back,
Well,
but it just stuck
Matt,
with me. It made
yeah,
me laugh.
Matt and I did get a little punchy.
Yeah, it was easy to do.
But it was not. That was I always am grateful, Matt. Like that really. I know it was a little thing, and it was a genuine reaction, but that was validation. Like you couldn't.
It's always nice
imagine.
when you can make your friends laugh. That's like the best
Yeah.
feeling. I remember playing like Three Pigs with you two chuckleheads on Sesame.
Was that the construction? Was that
Yes.
a construction company?
Yes,
and
with
just
Tim
so
Gunn.
Oh, Tim Gunn. That's right.
It was
That
just
was so
dumb
fun with
just
you three-
laughing
with you
because
two.
you get kind of in a little group and you can
Yep.
just mess
Yeah.
around and it's so much fun.
We're the stupid little pigs.
just dumb,
Yeah.
just dumb pigs.
Yeah, it's good.
We had good. We had joy. We had fun. We had seasons in the
Here's
sun.
my
That's the worst song in the history of songs. I hate that
song
song. Which, if we had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. But it's about a guy. Good night,
gets
Papa,
killed in the war.
I'm out to die.
Yeah.
Like it's awful.
What's it from?
Some one-hit wonder. But the crazy part of it is it's translated from a French song, and the French song is hilarious. It's like, tell my wife that she's the only one, but also tell my lover. Basically, it's like really like tongue-in-cheek funny, and they made it super earnest in English, and it's horrible. But the lyrics in French are so much funnier.
But it's got a hook. But it's got a hook.
It's got a hook, and it's sappy as hell.
I'm going to go back to Elmo and Grouchland real quick. This is another thing that I remembered.
You mean what the podcast is
Yeah, it
about?
doesn't
Oh,
matter.
yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good.
After we shot the film and we came back to New York, and I don't know how long this was, but I feel like this might, Joey, you'll know why. We did some reshoots, or maybe it was additional photography. What was that?
No,
and
it was
why
reshoots.
was that?
It
You
was reshoots.
guys did that.
So it was, they did a screening of
Yeah.
it. And if you remember, like in every movie, traditionally, the hero has a low moment when all is lost.
Yes.
And Elmo has lost his blanket. He thought he was going to get it. He's on top of the
Yes.
mountain, and he's lost it. And he sings a song about just being kind of forlorn and lost. And kids in the screening lost their minds crying. They were they saw Elmo upset. They were super upset.
As they should be.
There was
But too
there were
much.
so many parts in it that were like really scary. So it was decided we have to figure out how to say everything's okay, and then we added those. I didn't even write those Bert and Ernie pieces.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I think it would have been Mitchell came back and wrote the Bert and Ernie pieces, and it was like everything's okay. It's all going to be okay. Don't worry. Like they would stop the movie.
That's
and
right.
go,
They
"It's all gonna
stopped
be
the
okay."
movie and then they would come in. That's right. And it was.
Wait,
Yeah.
maybe I did write it.
It
Because
felt very much like you. I thought.
Because
But maybe I'm.
It felt you.
I can't remember. Was the Ernie and Bert part in the beginning when we first
Yes.
shot it? Okay, because I remember
they're at the
writing that
top of the
because it
film.
ended with the top of the film, and they're in like Bert wants to take a bath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because originally it was supposed to end with Bert in the position with his bath towel,
Right,
in
like
the
the
position of
Columbia.
the Columbia lady, and it was going to
Yeah.
fade to the Columbia lady.
I remember
but they
that.
wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't allow it. Columbia wouldn't allow it.
Cowards.
Because they thought we were making fun of their logo
Oh,
or whatever. But so I did write those, and then I think they then peppered them in throughout.
And it was. I remember it was in a garage. It was like a garage somewhere on the upper.
I wasn't even on the. I
you weren't
wasn't
there?
even on the shoot.
I was there because I was
even on the
assisting
shoot.
Steve and with Ernie, and it was like it really felt like it was in a garage on the Upper West Side somewhere in the
could have been.
60s or
Was.
something or 50s.
Because
They
it was just Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
and
They
it
were
was
out
just
of
all
money
that.
by then, man.
Really
They were
small
over
studio.
budget, I'm sure.
And I remember, I'm sure Frank and Steve, rewrote a lot of it just to kind of make it make sense for them. But then and that's why. Okay, so they put that in there because kids were too freaked out and scared.
Kids were scared, and then I remember going to the first. I guess it may have been the premiere or something. And do you remember like when I don't know if it was Dolby, or THX sound, and it was just like that. The theater just explodes with scary sounds and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, we're done.
Yeah.
Like kids are gonna be terrified of the thing right
Yeah.
before the movie and want to run out. I was like, maybe Sesame's not the right audience for a movie. It's too big. It's too it's too big for.
It was
our
before
young
Pixar
audience.
had taught us all to cry. Hit movies.
No, it was after.
Oh,
No, I mean, then eventually Pixar
Oh,
movies became
Pixar.
things like you go
You
and you expect
and
to
you
cry.
cry.
This was before Pixar had said, okay, you're going to come see us. You're going to
They,
cry.
they Rosie Greered us.
They did. They did.
It's all right to
yeah.
cry.
Gets the
No,
sad out
wasn't
of you.
there, before the Elmo and Grouchland, wasn't there the second Sony trailer?
Is that
the history of the
beforehand?
movies?
Oh.
Yeah. Because
No,
I didn't work on the first one, the Don't Forget to Watch the Movie one.
No,
but
I think
the
it was
second
that
one
one
where we did
that-
like the history of the movies.
I remember.
Where-
Don't forget to watch the movie.
Don't
I
forget
don't
to
remember
watch
the
the
second one.
movie. Don't forget
Right.
to watch
I
the
didn't-
to
show.
watch the
Yeah.
show.
But then we did a second one where it was
Benny
like,
Bunny's
Oh
in
my
that
god!
one.
Oh, he is. That's right.
but the second one was all about presents the history of the movies.
I don't
and
even
you had
remember
like
I don't either.
Zoe was Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, and
Gosh.
it
I
were
don't
all these like
remember-
moments of classic
I don't remember
movies.
it either.
I don't remember that second
was-
one at all.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the one I worked on. I remember we shot that at Silver Cup.
Were we there?
Yes, you were definitely there.
I don't remember that.
Were we
Because
drunk?
I think I forget.
Yes,
who
you were
was, like,
definitely drunk the whole time.
Duh.
I don't remember.
No, and I remember. I think that ran right before Elmo and Grouchland because I feel like we shot it right after we did the movie because Andy Stone came up and worked on it.
Oh, I remember Andy Stone being
and he
there
was
for
doing
something.
magic tricks.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yes,
we
I
were
do
all
remember
in this-
that.
There was
Yeah.
this giant green room
Yes, I remember.
where
But
we all
wasn't Tim?
had. It was just chairs.
Tim was doing magic too. Though.
Were they dueling
Tim Legas?
magic
Probably.
tricks?
Tim was
Probably.
doing. I remember Tim was doing magic, and he was
Probably
every
both
time
of
he'd
them.
do it, I'm like, oh my god, how do you
He's
do
magic.
Probably both
Tim
of
is
them.
magic.
He is.
It's possible they were dueling magic. But I remember, at Silver Cup, we were just in this one room with folding chairs along the perimeter. It was almost like an audition room. And we were all just sitting
remember that.
on
I do
those
remember
chairs like we were waiting for something to happen.
I do remember
That's
that.
the only thing I ever shot at Silver Cup.
But I can't remember the content of that thing.
I
at all.
can't
I
either.
vaguely remember. I just remember sitting next to Fran because I was either doing the Countess.
Was the
or
big
Zoe. I was
tornado in it
doubling
from
something.
Elmo
The
and Grouchland?
tornado.
From
Oh,
Elmo's
I
world? There was a
remember
big
that from
tornado.
Elmo's World.
Yeah, and
I
it was
remember
supposed
that.
to be the Wizard of Oz moment with the.
I do
yeah.
remember that now.
Was it a song?
No, it was like little snippets of movies, little pieces, and then it ended with something.
I wonder if it's out there on the internet.
It's got to be out there.
Please leave it in the comments below.
So we were the Nicole Kidman of the 90s.
We were. But I remember talking to Fran and saying, and she was, at that point, she was saying that she would never give up puppetry. Like, I was saying if you I think she was at that point in her career where she was really.
Right, no more acting. She was gonna
no
focus
more
on-
human face acting. And I said,
Right,
really?
it was
What
about
if-
she realized this is what I do, and I'm
because
okay
she
with that.
previously she had said, one day I'll be an actor,
Yeah.
and she was an actor.
Yeah.
And she was an actor. She
And
did
it
a
was-
lot of acting.
It was fascinating to me to have that conversation with her, and now I absolutely understand where she was coming from because of, and I knew the freedom that I would have as a performer, but we're different types, and Fran could do, in my mind, Fran was more castable than me as a face performer, so I thought, well, why would you ever give up that opportunity? Now I understand it.
Yeah.
But it was incredible I'm probably the same age she was when we were having that conversation.
As we round,
Maybe even older.
You're older.
oh,
I'm probably
really?
older.
You are. She's
Yeah.
not. She's not that old.
Yeah.
As we,
But I am.
No, I'm
And
saying
you
that was.
No,
That's
I know.
almost like 30 years. That's,
No, you're absolutely right. Yes, so I'm older then. Yeah. Wow.
so as we close our conversation about the Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland, we didn't really talk about Kevin as Elmo. I thought he did such
yeah.
a
He
great
did a great
job.
He was
He was
yeah.
so good in that role.
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, in that movie, like he really felt like a three-dimensional
Really
character. 'Cause
great.
He had and he got angry. Like there was a lot of stuff for him to chew.
Yeah,
on.
like
I think
that scene,
may
the
have
scene
been-
that you were talking about earlier, Joey, where he's
When he's
singing
on the
oh my
mountaintop,
gosh,
so
it made
beautiful.
me
Yeah.
cry. It was so
Yeah, he was great.
great that was cut from the
He was
movie.
great. Kevin is an amazing performer. Like Kevin's unbelievable.
That may have been one of the first times Elmo was allowed to have that kind of range.
Mm.
I don't know whether he got to explore because at that time we weren't doing the solid stories. We were just still doing snippet
The
clip
snip- yeah,
insert,
sketches.
snippet clip insert. So there really weren't those opportunities for Elmo to explore those different emotions that were
Yeah, and
that
also,
were that
like,
were real, not just Elmo is mad.
Yeah.
Now Elmo is happy.
Yeah, you got to really follow his.
was very
great
organic.
through line. That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it wasn't a blanket. I mean,
I know.
It's,
As if it
something
was
that didn't exist.
something that
it was
never was there.
Like Dorothy didn't exist yet, but if it was Dorothy or something,
Baby
real,
David, he had
I'm
Baby
taking it.
David.
That's
Baby
right.
David,
Jenna.
right? So if it would have been better if it was not something that didn't.
And
It just
also-
Was
didn't
it already
exist.
established?
Blanket
as,
was
sorry.
sentient, wasn't it? Didn't it move on its own?
Yes.
And
It,
like
it moved on in the
At the
yeah,
top,
it was-
anyway.
in the song.
No,
Throughout?
but it would pop up and look around.
yeah.
But only
Yeah,
only to Elmo though. It was like a Calvin and Hobbes thing, right?
I don't know. I feel like no,
I
because
don't-
Elmo's not there. Elmo's not there when Blanket is being held by Huxley, and it would peek out and go, "What's what's happening?" And I'm not sure. I feel like Bug sees it.
Oh,
I think so. I think it's more like Magic Carpet.
Well,
that existed before I got
Right.
on the movie, so
I was gonna
didn't
say,
invent
whose
that.
call was it to make it a blanket, or do you?
I don't know. It was a call because it was more like a lot of kids
have a
use blankets,
blanket.
and kids have those.
what do they
little,
call
you know,
them now?
like,
They call them not blankets.
I know what we
What'd
called
you-
it.
Well, we called it silky. It was a silky.
Silky.
That's what we called
It's a
it.
silky,
Oh,
and then Seggy got a
remember.
silky because you
Got a
gave it to
silky.
her.
Yeah, silkies. And hopefully my 23-year-old son, Jack, isn't embarrassed by this, but he still has his silky.
I love that he
Lila still
his
has her silky.
I don't even know where. I don't know where.
I think all my
Seggy's
kids still
silky
have
is.
their silkies, and they're on their bed. They have them with them.
Yeah,
That's
we don't
nice.
have our silky. I
Yeah.
don't think.
My son's gonna kill me for that. Anyway,
You could edit it out.
Joey,
You could edit it out.
I'm not gonna edit it out. Joey Mazzarino, Stephanie D'Abruzzo,
Yes.
thank you so much for walking down memory lane with me and making me remember things that I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, I really have not thought about that.
I haven't
movie
either,
in so
but
long.
it
Yeah,
does kind
it's
of make
been
me
a
want to
while.
go back and watch it and
I kind of want to go back.
to
I
see
really
what it
just
was
want
like.
to see the footage of the. I wish we took more pictures
I
or
know.
had those 100 megapixel.
seven
Just whatever it is,
kilobytes.
just to have memories
I
of
know,
it. I
'cause
don't
we
have
took
many
pictures.
memories of the movie.
I've got some
We did.
pictures.
Oh, you do?
But I'll find them.
Okay.
And send them
Let's-
your way.
let's share
Well,
them.
and I gave you Viewmaster reels.
The Viewmaster
yeah.
reels. Yes, you did.
Uh,
I think I might have that here.
Yeah.
gotta think of where mine is. I have no idea.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to check right now.
Ah.
I think I
Okay,
have it right
while
here.
he checks backstory,
Yeah, yeah.
when I was doing Webulous World of Dr. Seuss, there was one day where the, I guess it was Tycho who did. Anyway, the Viewmaster people came in to shoot. Oh my gosh!
No, this one's Jerry's party.
Oh, okay. We were doing a lot of Viewmasters.
Yeah.
You
at
did
the
make it
time.
for me, but this is Jerry's birthday party
Craig was saying.
in Cape Cod.
Craig was asking the pieces, wouldn't it be great if you could make your own Viewmaster reels? And the people said, oh, at one point in the 50s, they made cameras. Viewmaster made cameras that would shoot double images that you could send to Viewmaster and then get back. But at the time, there were these blank mounts, just the cardboard, and you had to get a cutter because you used slide film that you got developed, not cut, on a big strip, and then you had to put it through this cutter and cut out the little squares.
tiny.
So if you wanted multiples of a shot, you had to shoot it off because you couldn't dupe it.
Yeah.
Because you were basically cutting your negative. So yeah, I took a bunch of pictures and gave that to you as gifts, and I did that for I think Carmen Osbar's wedding. I think I did it for
Wow.
Noel McNeil's wedding. I did those as wedding presents.
What year was Carmen married? Do you remember?
98.
Wow.
98, and then Noel was married 99. So but yeah, Jerry's 65th birthday party.
Yeah.
That's
That was
right.
his 65th, the one
And-
up in
That was
Cape
at
Cod?
Churro, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that was like right after Elmo and Grouch, or the year after.
So glad we have
But
those
anyway.
memories
Yeah.
in 3
Sorry,
dimensions.
I yoinked your finale.
No, it's fine. I'm not cutting it. I'm just gonna
I
be just
yoinked
gonna
it.
do it just like this. This is how Joey. What? No, just looking
Yeah.
back at just looking back at.
I just like looking at these pictures.
Just
Hugging
describe one of
Jerry
the
Jewel.
pictures.
Okay, here's my wife and I at taking macaroni salad.
Okay.
Out of a thing.
Okay.
Here, Carrie's drinking a beer and talking to. It looks like Karen Prell's nose. This is Jerry in a very long beard, and I'm standing.
He
next to
had a
him with
Remember
huge
that.
beard.
Huge.
and he's wearing a purple, like almost looks like
Yeah.
a lei. But here I am. I love this one is me hugging Jerry Jewel, and that's a good one.
Well, and that's where we're gonna
That was
end
a
it.
good
We're gonna
party.
end it there. Steph,
Hugging Jerry
Joey,
Jewel.
thank you so much for joining
Not a
us
bad way to
on
end it.
Below the
Thanks,
Frame.
Matt.
Thank
good
you,
to
Matt.
see
It's
you.
So good to
see
see
both
you
of
too. We'll see you next time.
Love you,
Thanks, guys.
fellas.
Love you, and I like you, Matt.
Hey.
Ish.
Hey.
Hey, what's the deal? Get a little love over this way.
All right, I'll give you a kiss.
Thank you. Below the Frame is a Welcome Matt production produced by me, Matt Vogel. The theme song was written by Stephanie D'Abruzzo and myself and performed by my band, The Mighty Weaklings. Thanks to Dave Holteen at DaveHolteenDesign.com. He created our podcast art. You can follow me on Instagram at WelcomeMattV or search Matt Vogel. I post things every now and again, and it'll help you know when new episodes of this podcast, for example, are coming out. If you are sharing podcasts, please let somebody know about this one. And also, if you have a few seconds, just rate and review this one. I'm sure that pleases the podcast gods or something. You can find Below the Frame wherever you get your podcasts, and we are now a video podcast on YouTube, so you can see our faces if that's something that you want to do. Thanks everybody out there for listening. I am Matt Vogel, and we will see you next time when we go Below the Frame.
Go, go, go below the frame.
have them
great.
both.
That was great,
Oh.
everybody. Thanks.
Me and my buddies hanging out in the rumpus room.
Wow. Your daughters
that's all
are
we
growing
need.
and
I think
flying the
we've got
nest, and now
And
this is your midlife
two-
crisis.
These two never go. No, this one I bought during Aliens in the Family.
Oh, wow.
I used my per diem. I ate nothing but peanut butter for 2 weeks straight during my training session because that was in a window in Hollywood Boulevard, like a magic shop. And I saw it, and it was off of Paul. What was his name?
Winchell?
Paul Winchell?
Paul Winchell's made off his casts, right? And it was like, I don't know, it was like $800 back in 1996, whatever that was.
Wow.
And I was like, if I don't eat for 2 weeks and just eat peanut butter, I can go buy that. So I've had that since 1996.
When was that? What year?
1996, I think.
1996.
I feel that either 95 or 96, but I think it was 96.
So-
Now, just an audio check real quick. Stephanie, are you hearing, like, when
I
Joey
am.
talks? Yeah.
Yes, I am, yes.
Oh, it's because when I talk, I have a strange thing in my jaw. I just keep
it's a
in there.
click.
It's a little clicker.
It's
Click,
not in
click,
your
click,
throat.
click, click.
It sounds like it's in your throat.
Is that better?
No, it's worse.
No.
Yeah, so
this.
Yeah,
what
there's some staticky.
What do I do?
I don't know.
What do I do now, Matt? God
Maybe
damn
mute it and then unmute it. This is really all the session's going to be. It's just like us trying out audio things,
Great.
screaming. Now we can't hear you at all.
No.
Now you're muted.
But now I'm unmuted.
Right,
And
and
now
it's
it's
still
the
there.
same.
Yeah.
Still, you want me to leave and come back? Because I might not come back.
Oh, hey, look. I respect your choices. If you choose not to
All
come
right.
back.
Am I leaving? Oh, David Rudman's calling me. Let me accept this and see if I can.
See if we can get him on the
Yeah.
podcast.
I'm on right now on a podcast with Matt and Stephanie. It's Matt's
Hi.
podcast. I swear to God. I said, oh, Adam, David Rudman's calling me. I'm going to answer. I don't know. Can you hear him?
No.
Say something, David.
No.
No, they
No.
can't hear you. He's saying hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I can't. Hi.
They say hello, hello back.
I just said hi, though.
Matt, this is the world famous Matt Vogel podcast, Below the Stage.
It's that famous.
Is that what it's called, Matt?
Frame.
What is it called?
Below the frame.
Below the line, David said. It's called Below the
Below the
Line.
frame.
It's called Below the Man Down.
He's clearly listened to every single one of them.